okay then. For years and years and years, people were telling me about this Ring of Honor wrestling. Started up in about 2001, 2002, and they were telling me, do you know what? You should check this out. If you're a wrestling fan, if you're a real wrestling fan, then you're going to love ROH wrestling. Check it out and you will not be disappointed. And I was a bit skeptical, but I thought, do you know what? It's wrestling, I'm a wrestling fan, I'll give it a try. But I was a bit skeptical because at the time it was on in the UK on the Wrestling Channel, which was basically a channel which would pay for any TV show which was wrestling at the time. It would literally just syndicate whatever it could. It would buy whatever it could for a cheap price. Whereas the WWE at the time, the main boys on the market, which were at the time and obviously still are now, they were on Sky Sports, which was then and still is now the premier sports channel in the UK. So I was thinking, WWE's on Sky Sports, they're the real deal. Whereas Ring of Honor, they're just on this channel which pays for anything. So it's just wrestling, doesn't mean it's any good. But I thought I'll give it a go. You know, I didn't go out of my way to watch it, but I saw it one day while I was looking through the channels. So I thought, yeah, I'll give this a go. And I got to say, I wasn't impressed. You know, this dingy setting, small arenas, the small crowds. I thought, this is rubbish. Why do I want to watch this? So I just gave up on it. I thought, you know what, rubbish. I'm not interested whatsoever. I'm not going to watch it anymore. So years went by, a good 4 or 5 years, until I gave it another try. And it was about this time last year when the news broke that Bryan Danielson and Nigel McGuinness had signed for WWE from Ring of Honor. The ROH's top two guys were now in WWE. So I thought, must be something to this. If WWE have signed them, there must be something to it. I'll give them a go. So I decided to download their matches that I could find. I think the first match I downloaded was from Driven, and as soon as I'd finished watching that first match, about halfway through in fact, I realised I was hooked. I was really a fan of these two guys. It didn't really get me into ROH just yet, but that came a bit later. January this year I decided, you know what, I'm going to watch as much wrestling as I can. New Year's resolution to not just be a WWE and TNA fan anymore, to try and watch as much as I can, to then try and formulate my own ideas of what wrestling I do like, rather than just watch the big boys who I'm told to like on TV. So yeah, I gave ROH another go in January this year, and you know, slowly but surely I've started to become what I feel like a proper fan of ROH now. You know, and tonight is ROH's, I think it's third pay-per-view of the year, Glory by Honor 9, and I'm here to give you my thoughts, feelings and predictions on the show as a relatively new ROH fan. Now, a lot of people are going to be coming on here like over the last few days and over today, giving their thoughts on the show and what they think is going to happen. But these are the guys who've been watching ROH for years, guys who like a lot of wrestling fans can't relate to, because obviously a lot of wrestling fans have only been watching WWE and TNA for a long time. And it's hard to get into ROH when the people who are telling you about it are the ones who are like, oh yes, I've been watching ROH since the very beginning, and I've seen pretty much every single show ROH I've ever done. I go to ROH house shows all the time, and yes, I'm brilliant. Yeah, obviously no one talks in that voice. I'm not picking out a particular person there, because it's not their fault. You know, people talk about wrestling how they know it, so if they've watched ROH for a long time, then they have the right to talk about it in that sort of manner. Anyway, I'm here to tell you, as a relatively new fan, for people who might not have watched ROH yet, who want to get into it, or maybe are thinking of giving it a go, well, I think they should watch Glory by Honor 9 tonight. And I'm on the Go Fight Live website, which will be streaming the pay-per-view tonight for the princely sum of, I think it's $15. Yeah, so it's not that expensive. I think in the UK that's what, 10 quid at the most. So yeah, here's the card. It's going to start off with it. Well, it's not going to start off with, but I'm going to start off with Mark Briscoe versus Rhett Titus. Now, the last few weeks we've seen the Briscoes and the All Night Express have a little bit of a rivalry to build up to this match tonight. Now, I was expecting a tag team match between the Briscoes and the All Night Express, but they decided to do it in two singles matches. I think Mark Briscoe is going to beat Rhett Titus, because I don't know the difference between Mark Briscoe and Jay Briscoe, if I'm being honest. I know one was injured a few years back, I think it was anyway, and then the other one had a bit of a singles run. But yeah, I don't know the difference between the two, who's better and who's the worst one. But out of Kenny King and Rhett Titus, I would have thought that Kenny King is the the better of the two. Not like Rhett Titus is bad, just that I personally put Kenny King in front of him. So I think they're going to give one win either way. So I think Rhett Titus will beat Mark Briscoe. Then in the Jay Briscoe Kenny King match, I think Kenny King will get the win in that match. Next up, we've got Necro Butcher and Eric Stevens versus Grizzly Redwood and Balls Mahoney. Necro Butcher's turned on Grizzly Redwood as it's being told. Oops, my laptop almost fell on the floor there. Bit of a reshuffle. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, Necro Butcher's turned on Grizzly Redwood, they're saying, although I've not really seen much of them in a tag team, so I don't know if they were a tag team or not, but that's what the ROH announcers are telling me, that he's turned on Grizzly Redwood. He's gone to the embassy against all of his morals. He's turned his back on how he used to be. So yes, Necro Butcher and Eric Stevens against Grizzly Redwood and Balls Mahoney. Obviously Balls Mahoney isn't an ROH talent. I think this is just a one-shot deal for him, so I think he's going to take the fall from probably Eric Stevens, or maybe the Butcher, I don't know. But yeah, I think Necro Butcher and Stevens will win this match. And then we've got Austin Aries versus Christopher Daniels in a battle between both of these guys, saying that they are the best in the world, which is kind of weird because this isn't a world title match, so it's a bit strange how they're both fighting over who's the best in the world. But Aries versus Daniels, I'm not too sure. I think personally, this could go anywhere, to be honest. I'm going to go with Daniels just for the sake of choosing a side, but I'm not too sure. Then we've got the big match that I feel that this is the match that this pay-per-view is being built around. Kings of Wrestling, Claudio Castagnoli and Chris Hero against wrestling's greatest tag team, as they are going to be announced as tonight, Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas. Personally, I don't think Haas and Benjamin are going to be in ROH after this match. Maybe another match, but I don't think they're going to be in there for a long time. So I think this is a blatant Castagnoli, Chris Hero win, put the champions over. I think if Benjamin and Haas would have been going to ROH, then they would have been featured on the HD Net shows at least once by now, at least an interview, although they might have not wanted to put them in an interview because neither one of them are that great on the mic, are they, I suppose. Then we've got Steve Corino and Kevin Steen against El Generico and Classic Colt Cabana. Is that what he's still going as? That's what I want to call him, so that's what I'm going to call him. I think the Generico and Cabana might get the win. Although Steen and Carino seem to be the ones who've been using the chains more often. Did I mention it's a chain match or something like that? It is. I'm looking a bit confused because I am confused. I have no idea who's going to win this match. I'd go with Carino and Steen actually to win this match, to build up more heat on Steen cheating to get over Generico, and then to keep building and building so Generico can beat him cleanly down the line somewhere. Then we've got Eddie Edwards versus Sean Devine for the TV title. Now, today is September the 11th, as we all know. 9/11, is it 9 years since the tragedies happened? You obviously got Sean Navarre. This is going to be, it could be very controversial. And I watched Truth Slayer's video a few days ago, and I think he made a lot of sense when he said that they shouldn't really have Davari come out and do the old classic style, oh, death to America, that everyone's been doing for absolute years, since probably the 50s. I think they've been doing this anti-America gimmick. We used to be Russians, now it's just Middle Eastern guys. So yeah, I think Davari should cut a promo on this Islamic centre that's being built quite near to Ground Zero, saying that, oh, whatever, basically just saying that we should be allowed to do it and that you shouldn't be allowed to do it against us, and he should really keep driving the point across that you're always going against us, you're always against us, I was nothing to do with the attacks, but still you put me down all the time. You get a bit of heat that way, a bit smarter heat. But yeah, like I just said, I stole that idea from T-Slayer, so all credit goes to him for that. And yeah, main event, Tyler Black versus Roderick Strong. Now, again, this match, Tyler Black has signed a WWE contract, so it looks like he'll be dropping the title there tonight. I wouldn't have gone with this, to be honest. I would have gone with a more of a clusterfuck sort of match. if I'm being honest, I would have put David Richards in there, a few more guys, because David Richards isn't on the card, is he? No, he's not. So I would have put about 4 or 5 guys in there. Now I'll come up with my own concept for a match, so feel free to bash or feel free to say if you like it. And I put this on one of the forums a few weeks ago. But basically my idea is to sort of take away from the idea that we know that Tyler Black needs to drop the title and who it's going to go to, with like Roderick Strong being the only opponent for him in this match. If, say, for example, it was in a match with 5 guys, and you could have the sort of like a 1-fall finish, but not the sort of way that the champion doesn't get pinned. I do it the type of way where I'd call it to be the man you've got to beat the man match, where it's an elimination match, but the match ends as soon as the champion gets pinned. So for example, say it's a 5-man match, Roderick Strong pins Davey Richards, the match isn't over, Richards is just eliminated, then there's just 4 guys left, Mr. 1, Mr. 2, Roderick Strong and Tyler Black, and then say out of nowhere, Mr. 2 pins Tyler Black, match is over and Mr. 2 is the new ROH World Champion. I think that would be a more entertaining way to settle a title dispute, like where we know Tyler Black's going to leave, rather than just a one-on-one match where, you know, we know that Roderick Strong is likely to win, although they could throw us a swerve ball where like he could go to WWE still being champion and then maybe turn back up in ROH for a one-shot deal and drop the belt that way. But I'd think that, well, I don't really like Roderick Strong that much as a world champion, if I'm being honest. I would have put it on David Richards, but then again, there's the thing where apparently he's retiring at the end of the year, so I'm a bit confused as to what's going to happen. Although I wouldn't mind keeping the title on Black, the Briscoes going over Kings of Wrestling at a future date, and then Chris Hero winning the world title, because I think Chris Hero would be a pretty decent world title. Yeah, that's my thoughts of Ring of Honor tonight. I think overall it's going to be a really good show. I think it's going to be better than TNA No Surrender. I think it's going to be better than SummerSlam. I think it's going to be better than Night of Champions. So yeah, for anyone who's been umming and ahhing about this, if you're not going to want to buy this pay-per-view, try and get an illegal stream. I know, you know, we should be all paying for the wrestling and all that, but if you're not going to watch it in the first place, give the illegal stream a go, and then maybe at the next pay-per-view you will want to buy it after seeing this illegal stream this time, thinking, do you know what, it is worth my while, I do like it, I'm going to pay to watch it, so yeah, that might work out that way. So yeah, that's my video. I'm quite excited for it, to be honest. I'm going to stay up all night to watch it. I don't really like staying up for the pay-per-views, you know, but that's just WWE and TNA ones because they bore me and send me to sleep. But I think this one should keep me entertained. So yeah, with that, I'm out, and I might do a review video tomorrow. Depends how I feel. I've got a hockey game later, so I might be pretty tired. So yeah, anyway, I've babbled on for too long. See you later.